That's one secret of
You
branding.
should put this in our intro, and then you should do a translation of what they're saying. Put
Yeah,
that in our
secret
intro
of branding.
before.
You see people advertising water, and a woman will come and bring the water. She's
In
sweating.
such a succulent
You know
way. I
what?
don't know.
It's just because it catches attention. Because the whole world would love to see that. If there's a woman, don't waste your time with a man.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Pick and Chat podcast. We hope you're doing well. We hope you're blessed. Today we have a special episode for you. Today we're going to be talking about networking in business. So stay tuned and let's get on with it.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so Dennis and I are here again, as we always do today. I think it's been a while, isn't it, since we
been a long
posted an episode.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, everyone. But just a side note, both Dennis and I we work full time. We have families. On Dennis's side as well, he has businesses that he runs, so it can get quite a lot trying to make time for Pick and Chat. But we love doing Pick and Chat, and we want to make time for it. So please pray with us in the new year that God will help us to make more time to
do
be
better.
more regular, definitely. But we're here today and we thank God for that. So like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be talking all about networking in business today. Is networking important in business? Are there any tips that Dennis especially can share when it comes to networking, especially if you're starting up your business afresh? And another thing that we're going to talk about is networking and personal character, because I've heard people say things like, oh, I'm an introvert, so I'm not sure how to network. We're going to talk a bit more about that as well. So let's start. I think then it will be good for us to start with what is networking in business. I hear people say it a lot, but what does it mean when people say, oh, when you're building a business, you need to start by networking? What is networking about?
Yeah, so before business, networking is just, you know what a net is? A net is connected. Yeah, so it's a work of what? Connections.
Okay.
So that's what networking means, literally. But in business, the connection is not to just have fun. The connection is to make profit. So you might want to consider who you are networking with or who you're bringing to your circle. So in business, networking is getting people who are doing what you want to do, who have what you want, and who are making the money you want to make. Simply like that.
Okay. So if, for example, I'm building a business, I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm like, okay, I want to start a business on candle making. Is networking important for my candle making business, and why?
Yes, it's the most important thing because let me just use our podcast for an example. So if our podcast was for home decor and we have 10,000 subscribers, that is our network. In as much as for us, somebody might consider them as audience, that is the network so far as the podcast is concerned. If you want to start a candle making business and you have an audience who are interested in home decor, who do you think will be your first customer? Your audience.
Yeah.
So you have a very strong customer base already. So just like in the face of business now, every business person or every business leader or founder is trying to get some audience, because that is the very chance for you to even get something sold in the first place. So it is important for a startup, it's important for a business to have a network. And you don't even need to get people at your level of, let's say, management. You just even need to get an audience that
Okay.
can tell you what is wrong with what you're doing, what is wrong with your product. And that is something you would have paid for if you didn't have them in your network.
All right. So you mentioned before that if you have, for example, 10,000 subscribers, when you're starting a business, that's your audience. You can start with them. But back in the day, when someone was starting a business, they could go door to door and give their business cards to people.
Yeah.
Or when they go to work or like family functions, oh, this is my business card, I'm starting a cleaning business.
Yeah.
Call me if you need any support in that area. But nowadays, we're in a digital space where you're not necessarily always going to go around and give physical business cards to people. So how can we network in this social media age that we're in?
Yeah. It is interesting. Things are very different now. I'm going to give an instance. I'm going to put you in a spot and you just give me your responses if it is something you do. So you are a marketing manager or let's say a director of a marketing company, an e-commerce company. and there is this let's say vice president of marketing for this big company, let's say Next or whatever the company is. They put a comment on, let's say, a post on LinkedIn. I am just somebody who has finished university or has done some course on marketing, and I want a role. I go to that post, then I get into the comments. When I go into the comments, I saw you, the director of marketing of an e-commerce company, say something. Then I like it. How does that make you feel? That somebody has actually come into the comments to like what you said.
What you said, yeah.
Then I reply to it. Thank you so much. This is very insightful. I am going to apply it. But how does it relate to customer da da da? How does this relate to? Imagine if this is the scenario. How would you what? Bring a solution to this.
Yeah.
So now you feel like, oh really? Out of the hundreds of comments, somebody has replied to mine, actually read it, understood it. Does it make you feel important?
Yeah.
Yes. So you're going to reply to me. Then I have the grace to jump into your DM. Or even ask, would you mind if I ask you a further question on this? I don't want to, Oh, that's fine by me. Then I'll leave you a DM. It could be that you never reply. But if you do, we are connected on first name basis.
Okay.
So, hello, Annabelle. I am Dennis. I'm the one that commented on this and this and that. I'm very happy. I didn't even believe you have time to respond to my message. Then I give you the respect of you being a good person. So you want to continue to be what? A good person.
Yeah.
That is how you market. First of all, you make people feel important. Secondly, you make them feel seen. Thirdly, they will see you automatically. So networking is actually popping up to know people. And you don't get to know people who are above you without you letting them know that they are really important. And the moment that happens and you pay attention to details, then they'll get to you.
Yeah.
So now you are networking with this director of marketing just by what? Paying attention to a comment. What can you do? Ma'am, sorry to take too much of your time. Would you mind having a look at my CV?
So you can just
Exactly. Now she knows you on first name basis.
Yeah.
She thinks you are intellectual.
Okay,
She knows the comment you made about her her comment. You commented on a comment because she was commenting on what? A vice president marketing post. Now she is just a director, and you are commenting. You are making the comment seen.
Yeah.
Liking it. Perhaps nobody even paid attention to it. Even the post owner did not pay attention to it. So now you have your attention.
Yeah.
Now you have asked her further intellectual questions. And of course, look, all of those people at that stage are all sapiosexuals. What I mean by that is they are attracted to people who mentally are stimulated. They like those comments. LinkedIn, when people are active on LinkedIn, it means they like intellectual conversations. So they like you in the first place. Now they know your first name. So please, I'm not going to take too much of your time. Don't waste your time if you don't have it. But when you can you have a look at my CV? Now you have your CV in front of what? A director of a marketing what? Company. A director of marketing of an e-commerce company.
I would be happy to get my CV in front of someone
Exactly.
like that.
So now she is going to tell you what she will look for when she's employed.
Yeah.
Then when you say thank you, ask her that if you think I'm a fit, if there is any role, can you let me know?
That's bold. Sorry, hold on that. What I'm thinking in my mind right now. So from the time I comment on her comment, should there
comment
be
on her comment?
should there be an appropriate time frame when I send my CV to her? Because what I was thinking about when you were talking was, how quickly can I do these things?
I think
nowadays sometimes on social media, people are a bit shy to be bold. I'm speaking for myself here as well. How quickly can I send my CV to this marketing director after commenting on her comments?
Yeah, you have to just judge because from the scenario you and I are picking up, I judged that she had a time to chat with me in a DM.
Okay.
So now I can really get there. You just said that the moment they paid attention to you, are just pushing stuff to them. The second scenario is after that, when you are on DM basis, then you can say, "Ma'am, this is me. I know your time is very valuable. I can do this. In case you have any jobs that you think I can learn from, I'm happy to take them up and do it for you so that I get a chance to learn from you." So now you are offering value to her. So at times you're like, I have this list of potential customers. Can you go through and tell me the ones that are in e-commerce? You take a 2,000 email list, go through each of them, give her a short list of, let's say, 270 of them that are e-commerce and that are trading. You give it back to her.
Yeah.
She's already having assistants. And you are done. You are literally working with a marketer.
Wow.
And there's a lot you're going to learn, and they are just going to hold your hand. And now you can also ask things, and that's how it works. So always going with some value creation. First of all, you give her value by just analyzing her comment, commenting on it, giving her another nuance of how this could be, and asking her a question. And the moment you ask a question, you bring engagement, because now she also has to what? Reply, because everybody is watching.
Yeah.
Don't go and disgrace it. Don't go and say you are wrong. This and that. No, look, you're going to shut everything. And that's one thing you don't do with people. So you have to know all of these person's skills to become a good networker. Let me give you another instance. I run a cleaning business. Sometimes when I want to get customers, I go and join Facebook groups that are for communities. I have a Facebook group in Coville that people post works in it. I don't just go and say, oh, I have a cleaning business, I want to post. I'm like, I just go and review a clean product. This is it, this and that, this is works, this is eco-friendly, this and that. Then people start commenting. Then the moment people comment, the algorithm is like that. The moment people comment on your post in a group, you can DM them, because now you are certified as somebody who is not
so
baggy.
now you're like,
exactly.
connect, the algorithm means that you're kind of connected.
Then I DM like, it is a very good product. Yeah, reference to that. If you think you still want people to clean for you, this is my number. Call me anytime. I get jobs too.
I like that.
So just join Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Get engagement. If you are a hairdresser, just go on Facebook group where people are talking about hair.
Yeah.
Talk. Go and give value. Don't just go and drop a spammy advert. I do the best hair in the whole of UK. No. Go and give value. How to treat an African hair. How to treat this. How to treat a curly hair. How to make this. Give them content. Just like you and I do. We give you content. And if you want to sell anything to people who like the content we give, it's easier because there's that trust and there's that followership. And that is our network.
But with some of the things you've shared, it almost sounds like the things that we were doing in the community physically. So, going to give your business cards to people, or even people giving testimonials about you within the community. Now we've taken that online, and it's easier to do. You can network with millions of people.
Yeah.
Compared to going around and giving business cards to people.
Yeah.
And from what you were saying, I think another thing that I picked up was you have to sacrifice when it comes to networking. So, for example, with the marketing director scenario, after commenting on her comments and even you going to give her your CV, like even before that, you need to make time and get into her DMs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can say a little bit about that. It's not just a matter of, oh, hi, thank you for replying to my comment.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a job in marketing.
You don't do that, yeah.
There must be a skill on how to enter people's DMs, when you're networking. I don't know if you have any experience to share around that, or any tips you can give.
Yeah. So the most recent one I've done is I think I went to New York recently, and I saw Rolex. When you go to JFK, that's John F. Kennedy Airport, they have this time clock there, and it's made by Rolex. So Rolex has the time mounted from the ceiling, and it's telling the time. So everywhere you watch in JFK, you can see the Rolex watch. Let's say it's 3:00, but the whole brand of that watch, that clock, is Rolex. So I DM'd the owner of Caveman Watches. The guy is in Ghana. He's doing well. He's made a whole watch brand in Ghana. You might have to look at it. My favorite is the Blue Volta. It's very nice. I want to get one for myself. And I DM'd him because the moment I saw the watch, I'm like, wow, this is so nice. I mean, Rolex is so big to be advertising by offering to make a watch for JFK. So I DM'd him like, look, he's Ghanaian. He's making a watch in Ghana. I'm like, look, I saw this in JFK. I think you can do same for Caveman in Kotoka International Airport in Ghana. He replied. Very simple. Now he knows me. He knows he's a guy that went to America and saw a big brand like Rolex, and he thinks my Caveman can also do that in Ghana.
So your DMing needs to be purposeful.
Yeah, I just gave him value. I just told him maybe it's something he's thought of. But for you to be there and somebody will just think about your product and tell you something he has seen and think you should do it. So imagine having caveman watch mounted in all the terminals in Kotoka.
Yeah.
And it's telling people the time, and people are seeing the brand caveman. How much of a follow have I given this guy if he's never thought of it? He replied, absolutely, something like that. Now we are on, high basis.
That network is being
I can
built.
catch up exactly.
Yeah.
I can catch up anytime because he knows this is a guy. Even if I DM him again, the moment he goes back to his DMs, he's no okay. This is a guy that gave me this value. He is prone to answer any question that I give him than any other person. Do you think such a busy guy is in his DM replying to
Everyone? Yeah. That's
People
true.
asking him for jobs, but he replied to mine because it was value.
Yeah.
And that's how it
Okay,
works.
yeah.
So try to give value before you take. And that's
Right.
the secret of networking.
And the sacrifice that I mentioned goes back to that. So you need to, even though the DM you sent, I'm sure it didn't take too much time, but it was still sacrifice because you could have decided, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
But you took time and sent that DM.
I wrote it, deleted it, wrote it, reconstructed it because I'm like, I don't know this person, but I feel like, come on, this guy.
Yeah.
I love what he does. Let me just send it to him.
Send it.
And that
Yeah.
was it. So whether it was just to get his attention, of course, I'm not looking for a job from him, but he's a good network for me to know. He's a person that I will be happy to really know and be like, yeah, this guy I can reach this guy. He's a person that I'll be happy to refer the people that also look up to me to be like, oh, I know this guy who I think is good. Can you employ them?
Yeah.
So imagine if I know 10 of these watchmakers, big time founders. I become a very great network for people who really are networking, trying to network to me as well.
Yeah, I really like that. And I want us to talk a bit more about the sacrificing aspect because I feel that we're living in a time where, have you heard of the term fangirling? When, let's say, for example, I'm a big fan of Joe Metto or Nathaniel Bassey. And every time they release a song, I just get into I love this song. Oh, you're so good. This.
Yeah, okay.
That's like,
fangirling.
like,
Is it only for girls?
you can fanboy into if you want.
I've been fanboying in people's DMs.
And what you just said, there's a big difference between getting into someone like, especially if I'm an aspiring singer, getting into someone like Joe Metro or Nathaniel or any big musician's DM and saying, oh, I love your song, I love you, I'm a big fan, compared to maybe this is what I've learned from this song, or your song, your lyric writing skills, or the example you're sharing with the caveman scenario. So some level of sacrifice needs to go into networking in the sense that you need to take time and follow the process, but follow it well so that you can get the right result. So if you're getting into a marketing director's DM, you're not just going, oh, here's my CV, can you give me a job? You're probably going to need to make time to go through their LinkedIn post to see maybe where an area of interest is. Is this something that's similar to my interest? Okay, can I hit this person up? Should I comment on a few of their posts? Should I go straight away and hit them up on their DM, talking about something they've said before to get their attention? So you need a level of sacrifice and you need to do it well. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Because I think social media as well nowadays, this is my view. Sometimes it comes across like, oh, you only just need to like someone's post.
And that is it.
And you've connected. And in a way you have. But that's almost the starting point.
That is the starting,
it starts from there. But it shouldn't end there. After liking someone's post. So for example, I really love reading books. And I've recently started reviewing books that I read on Instagram. And I've purposefully started following some book review accounts on Instagram. But I'm taking my time to network in that niche on Instagram because I don't want to just go into book reviewers DMs. Oh, I love the way you review books. Like, I want to try and understand how they review their books. I want to try and understand how they take pictures of the books they've read and post it, so that I can learn from them. But at the same time, when I'm going to them, so when I slide into their DMs, I'm going with something purposeful, not just I love your book. So
you can have some discussion that is really important to them.
Exactly. So it doesn't just end. I love your book. So thank you, and then it ends there. So if you've just joined in, watching this video, we've been talking about networking, and Akoto has made some really good points about sacrificing when it comes to networking. And take your time and really watch these videos. There's a lot of things you take from it. But I want us now to talk about networking and personal character. I've read some posts online when people talk about, oh, I'm an introvert. So, when it comes to building a business, I'm not so sure because I'm the type of person, or this is my character, or this has networking got anything to do with personal character? If you're building a business, should you care about, oh, I'm the type of person that I just like to stay indoors, so I don't know if networking is for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is true that networking is not for everybody.
Really?
Yeah, it is not for everybody. So for me, I have a great chance at networking because of my persona, my temperament, because I'm
Okay.
easygoing. That means that somebody who is not really easygoing or outgoing would do far more things that I would do before they can get where I am. Because I can just walk with you and just tell somebody they are looking good and pick on conversation with them easily. I go
Yeah.
to church and I would never come back without having a detailed conversation with somebody. I literally ask people to invite me for dinner. Like, when you make good soup, call me. You understand?
Yeah.
And it shock you, I get invites. You understand?
Yeah.
If I come to your house and you give me food, regardless of the taste of the food, I'll find one thing that I know that I'm not lying about that was good in the food. That I know you know is good. And I'll tell you. One thing is, if you're telling people things and it's not honest, they know. If somebody makes food and there's too much pepper and you tell them the food was not peppery, they know you are lying. So you don't talk about that. Talk about the ginger that was in that really made a stand out for you. That they know
Wow.
they put in. And I pick on these things, and it makes people, it makes me likable to people. I'm able to discuss stuff with people because
a good
I'm able to talk about things that they really be like, oh,
Yeah.
they really paid attention to it. You understand?
Wow. That's cool.
There was this person that I called him by his surname, and he was shocked. I was like, how do you know my surname? I'm like, I like you. If you like people, you want to know their full name.
Yeah.
And I told him I like you. And the moment I told him I like you, man, you, no homo, he's a boy.
But even that, I'm sure there are lots of men. Let me just say, some men that may not probably even feel comfortable saying that, like you're saying. Yeah.
He's asked me, how do you know my surname? I'm like, I like you. So I really just was interested to know your name, everything.
Yeah.
So he was like, somebody called him by his surname, like he's been walking around, and I've been telling him, like, look, you are a good guy. I like you. I like how you're going. And I tell you, the moment I meet this person, the conversation is so nice.
Yeah.
He knows he's talking to somebody he likes. I've offered him like 4 pieces of advice that he just nodded his head, whether he liked it or not. He just took it from me because I've ever told him I like him.
Yeah.
So for me as a person, look at me. It is not so easy for somebody who is an introvert to do these things. So I'll be networking faster than this person. So what the person who knows their temperament and the temperament is not really good for networking, I mean, what they need to do is they have to understand the intentionality of networking. So if you know you're not an extrovert and you're an introvert, but you're into business, you need people who can sell for you because selling is not for you.
Okay.
So you have all your chance to get out of your shell, to overcome rejection,
Yeah.
to get just 4 people who are extroverts. And that is what? A strategic networking. You are networking with people. That's why I initially defined networking as what? Getting people who have what you want.
Yeah.
Who are making the money you want. And who are making the profit you want. Or who have done what you want to do. So now you know you cannot sell. You're not the person that can go out and be telling people. When I started Proceed, you remember at church?
Yeah.
I literally get people to be like, look, scan the QR code, download my app. And can you imagine? My wife was shy. She was shy for me for going to people to tell them to download my app.
Second-hand embarrassment.
You get it? And I understand her. And that is what people are not able to overcome.
Yeah.
Rejection. Your introvert tells you your level of acceptance of rejection. Sorry, your temperament tells you. Extroverts, do you know why extroverts are able to get out there? They are not afraid of rejection. But introverts are. So every introvert has that problem. So if you're an introvert, you just have to get these extroverts around you who you say, I'm really suffering with marketing this product. They're like, oh, don't worry, we just put it on our podcast. We just talk about it in church. We just take it out.
Yeah.
So now your only problem in this world is not to just get to 1,000 people. Get to that 4 people who can get to 250 each for you.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's all the work you need to do. So when you understand that, then you know that, okay, networking is not for me. I'm very bad at networking. So I'll put all my best in networking with people who can what? network.
Network.
So for me, I'll just network with people like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
But for an introvert, they need to network with people who can what? Network. So that now you have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You put one thing, it gets cascaded to a lot of people. And that is how strategy could be. So networking is not from everybody. Everybody must network, but it is not as easy for everybody. Extroverts are better at networking because they talk to 100 people.
Yeah.
80 people think they are just people who talk too much. But 20 people think, okay, yeah, these guys are fun to roll with. And they have their contacts. Oh, where are you going? I'm going to this place. Do you want to come? Because people are going to places. They want people who can really talk.
Yeah.
Who come with a vibe, come with a party. They go there, they meet another 20 people. 10 think, oh, they are too much. They are just poking their nose into everything. 10 think, oh, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
Another 10, they get invited to places, and that is how it works. Before you realize, they have 2,000 connections on LinkedIn. They have 5,000 connection followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
They have 3,000 friends on Facebook, and they launch a product. They sell to 100 people, and you get amazed how they find all these people just because they started networking early. So I'll say again that your temperament, your behavior, or your character affects how well you can network, but you have to be intentional.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. I think that the other bit I want us to talk about a little bit more is just so that someone who thinks of themselves as an introvert don't get discouraged. Because, for example, if I'm an introvert and I don't know 4 people who are extroverts that can network, before I get to that point, is there anything that maybe I can do to start helping myself to be a bit more out there? And one of the things that I'm thinking about that I don't really know if I'm an introvert or an extrovert, but one thing that I've done that has helped me, especially in the social media arena, is actually trying to find people on social media that like similar things that I like. So how can an introvert start the networking process even before they meet that 4 people that can help the network on their own as they are starting to build their business? Maybe they, because they're an introvert, maybe they don't even know anyone who has similar interest to them. So how can they start?
Just start following. So if you're an introvert and you want to build just suggest any business. What business is even common now? Let's say you want to
You want to start a podcast?
You want to start a podcast.
Yeah.
So start listening to podcasts, see how they go about it. Just research into podcasters who normally in real life are introverts.
Yeah.
And see how they go about their things. Look at what they say and how they present themselves. Most of the time when I watch podcasts, I almost get to know that this person is an introvert or an extrovert, depending on how they really get out there with their questions and everything. Some of them, you could see they are very reserved. They take any answer. They don't follow up. And that is who they are. So when you start watching this podcast, of course, that is a chance for you to get into the comment section because you are an introvert. So normally you don't want to meet people in real person. You're always in your shell. But at least writing something in the comment is very simple.
Okay.
Put yourself out there. And I'm not going to lie, even for introverts, that is still difficult. Because they feel like, what if somebody I know come to see me commenting on somebody's podcast? Yes. I'm sorry, at least you have to do that. That's the least you can do.
Okay.
Hide behind your phone.
Yeah.
Say something that is what? Constructive. Just don't go and put any, things that will make you come out as a bad person. Give value on the comments. Like I said, comment on people's comments.
Yeah.
Like people's comments. These are things that thousands of people will not even know who you are. And when it gets to now replying or people replying to your comments, then you can have a chat. Trust me, it's definitely going to get you out of your shell by a notch.
Yeah.
You will get out there, then you understand, okay, yeah, I can really have conversations with strangers. And that is how it works. The moment you are able to do that, then it means you can now get in front of people. There is a podcast I watched, My First Million. They actually have MFM meetups where the audience, the people that watch the podcast, actually do hangouts. And these are people, of course, My First Million is people who want to make millions.
Yeah.
So these are business entrepreneurs. So imagine if you're an introvert and you are in the comment section, you know where they are hanging out. Then you can also go and hang out. Then, of course, we don't expect you to network with 100 people. Just network with just 2 people. And that is how it starts. So you can always start somewhere. But I advise to get behind your phone. Hide behind your phone and put some good value out there. Now, you can actually even have a whole YouTube channel without showing your face.
Yeah.
And I think we can make a whole session on that. How you can go to ChatGPT, get your content, go to Midjourney, get the video, the images, put the voice on. There is AI to get, that script being read and the images are showing, put it out there. Get people commenting. So now you are the owner. Nobody knows your face.
Yeah.
People are commenting on what you're posting, whether it is on nature, whether it's on depression, whatever subject matter you want to discuss. Now you can reply to them. And it will definitely make you bold as a person. And that is how you start. So get behind your phone and do something, because the world is online. Everything is online. Donald Trump is online.
Elon Musk is online.
Elon Musk is online. Look, when Elon Musk started Cybertruck, before he started it, he just put it out there online that this is what I'm going to make. If you think I'm going to make this car, put $100 to it. They got like thousands of people putting $100 to it, and that's $1 million before he started. So if the richest people are still putting content out there and taking $100 from people, who are you not to ask people for money? And I'm even going to come there. Look, I am at the level where I DM people for money. I call people to invest in my business.
Yeah.
And that is high time fear of rejection. Like actually working somebody and telling, I want you to invest in my business. My business needs money. I mean, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But that's my level. But for many people, it's just talking to people. Start talking to people. Start commenting on posts in a nice way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to network in business, of course, go to business pages, talk to people, comment, like, repost, and put yourself out there.
Yeah, I like that. You've mentioned a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about around challenges when it comes to networking. You've talked about coming out of your comfort zone. For example, if you're an introvert, how to deal with that. I want us to finish off by you just saying something about how to deal with rejection when it comes to networking, particularly slow responses that leads to rejection. How do you deal with that? Especially if you're networking online. You've DM'd someone 1 month, they haven't replied.
So now I don't want to DM anybody again.
You know that. Okay. I'm not even going to open it because I know it's not going to be good. How do you deal with those challenges when it comes to networking?
The first thing in dealing with rejection is to understand that you would be rejected. And that's what people don't understand. No matter who you are, people are not there waiting to network with you. There are people who will never pay attention to you. There are people who also not pay attention to you, but would rather pay attention to you when you have made it or when you are ahead of them.
Yeah.
And that is how it works. Let me give you a scenario. Would you be able to answer any kid who wants to do the work you are doing? Imagine there are thousands of kids reaching out to your DM and be like, oh yeah, we've seen your profile on LinkedIn. We want to do what you're doing. We want you to mentor us. Would you be able to do that? No. But some of them will stand out.
Yeah.
Some of them will be like, Auntie, I like your hair. How do you keep your natural hair? How do you, as a black woman, keep your hair in UK? I like how you do these things. Then you start paying attention to that kid. Then you start talking to them.
Yeah.
And, it goes on. Then you'll be like, okay, yeah, what do you do? Some of them will even pretend they don't know who you are. What do you are? I'm a social worker. Oh, really? It's a thing I want to consider. And nice people don't tell you that I want to do it so that they sound desperate in front of you. Like, a thing I want to consider. Then you want to let them consider. You want to force them to do what you're doing. So it's like you are their mercy. Yeah. So let me come back to it. The fact that you will not respond to everybody that comes into your DM when there are a lot of people means that the people you want to network with, if they are really good people, there is a chance that there are many people like you who also want to network with them.
Yeah.
So you need to stand out. And you need to learn how to stand out. You might not get it from start, so you might be getting rejections most of the time. But of course, that is your tool to learn how to network. I remember I entered a millionaire's DM. I didn't know he was a millionaire. And I just tried, hello, I'm Dennis. I started this project. I've seen you online, and I really want you to mentor me. I've done that before.
It sounds so cringy when you talking about it.
Can you imagine? I didn't know. I thought the person is black. He's a young guy that sold a company. If I mention a company, he's a young guy that sold a company. And I know one day when I've really made, tens of millions, a ton of money, and I have the right attention, I'll put it online and I'll screenshot what I did to encourage people.
Yeah.
But what does it tell? What does it tell about me? It means that I'm not afraid of rejection. I had a guts, and that's because of my temperament. So I'm not thinking everybody can do this.
Yeah.
But whoever is afraid of getting rejected will never ever get rejected. But your yes is after the no's. Your first yes is after the most no's you can receive. So if you are destined to receive 1,000 no's, that means you should keep going. So if I tell you, Annabelle, today that you are going to get a yes to that request for 1 million fundraising for your business after 120 people have said no to you, would you rather go fast to get more no's to get to the 119 so that after the 120th you get a first yes, or would you not do it at all?
I'll do it.
Exactly. So the only problem is you don't know how many no's you have before your yes.
Yeah.
So you have to keep banging on it.
Keep going.
And that's how it works.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll just get out there. I've raised tens of thousands of pounds by just asking.
Wow.
That I really go around asking people for money for my business. Tens of thousands of pounds. This is money that is life-changing for many people. But people have invested in me and not even worried about whether it is going to succeed or not, because I overcame rejection and asked. So understand that you'll be rejected. However, your acceptance is at the very end of your rejection. So go on with it, get rejected, deal with it. Don't feel personal about it because it is not you. It is just that people are also busy. And if you want to be very okay with it, understand that there are a lot of people that also want to get to you that you are also not paying attention to. For men, we don't have that experience, but for you women, you've rejected many men in your life and you've never thought about how they felt. And that is how it really feels like. So for women, I tell you, the way you bounce guys in back then, that is how it feels like. Rejection is very difficult. And that's why many men are not married now, because they weren't able to get to the women they wanted to, But for some of us who shot our shot, we are married. Amen. So it works like that.
Yeah.
Your acceptance is at the very edge of the amount of rejections you ever receive. So go on with it. Understand that you get rejected, and you are this close to getting accepted. It could be anything. It could be about evangelism. Yeah. You've spoken to too many people to follow you to church. They say no. Your first person that will follow you to church is just there, but you need to just keep going. And understand that you get rejected. And that's why we Christians, we are very much privileged. Because for me, I grew up in Pentecost, going to evangelism, talking to bare people about Christ, and look at how it feels like. We're going to youth camp or Sunday school camp. They give you a card to go to town and ask people to fund your Sunday school trip.
Yeah.
You know that thing. I go to them, I'm like, I'm going to Sunday school camp. I can you contribute to it? And people will take your card, sign, and give you, that time I think it was 1,000 CDs. It's just like 10 pesos now. 1,000 CDs, and sign, they'll put their name to it.
Yeah.
And I come back home and I have more money than I need for the registration fee.
Yeah.
I give the rest to my mom to buy, stuff to make my shito and everything. My big brother was introvert, you know him. He will come home with nothing. Because he doesn't go to people. He will just be hiding around because he's an introvert by nature. He doesn't want to get rejected. And that is how it is. Yeah. So for some of us, it's been good for us. We've done evangelism. If you want to be very good at dealing with rejections, start talking about your religion or start talking about the things you believe in. And that is the only way, because it's the only thing you have and been known for. If you talk about it, you become bold. Now you can move it to other phases of life, in business, in charity, in everything.
That's amazing. I've really enjoyed this episode and I've learned a lot. I think particularly for me, being able to get over rejections when it comes to networking. Don't give up. Keep going. The amount of no's you get, you eventually get to your yes, and you blow up.
And accept that you are going to get no's. Accept it.
Yeah, accept it. It's been good. I hope this episode really helps someone out there who's an introvert, who's trying to network, amongst all of that. Watch this, pause it, write things down, come back to it, write more things down, and let us know in the comments below if there are any tips on networking that has worked for you that may help other people as well. Share them in the comments below, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.